Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura and today I need to sew a snap-on. I put this jacket on this morning and the snap came off, so I need to sew the snap back on. Now in order to sew the snap back on, I first of all have to decide what kind of thread I'm going to use. As a general rule, keep this in mind. Do not use a thread that is too strong because it could rip the fabric versus ripping the button off. So I like to use a 100% cotton. It is actually for hand quilting. You can also buy a special thread, and it's actually called button thread. And that really is the nicest thing to do, especially if you're going to sew a button or a snap-on that comes from a heavier garment. But because this is very light, I do not want to put a very, very heavy thread on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to decide how long my thread is. Standard rule is do not cut more than you can handle. So in other words, take your thread and the length of your thread will be the length of your arm. So this is where I'm going to cut it. I'm going to snip it right there. And that way I do not have too much thread that I can handle. Now when I sew this snap-on, I do not want to catch the front of the panel because I don't want to see the stitching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the top fabric away from the back fabric, and this is where I'm going to sew the snap-on or the button-on, whatever the case would be, so that you're not going to catch this. Now let me show you a close-up on how I'm going to do it, and it's going to be on a beige piece of fabric. Will be a lot easier to see. So now you're going to fold your thread in half, and you can see I have the two tails here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this loop. And what I want is that loop to actually be a little shorter than your tail ends. You're going to take this loop and you're going to actually use that to thread your needle. So the loop is going to go into that needle and you're going to go to that part. So the threads, the tail ends, the tail ends are going to be longer than this loop. So that's how you're going to thread your needle. Now when the button or snap has come off, you actually can see some of the stitching holes. And what I want to do is I want to make my knot right in the middle of where that's going to be. So the best thing for me to do would be to pinch my fabric, fold it in half so my middle is right there. Now I'm going to take my thread, and like I said, there's my loop and there are my tails. I'm going to go into the middle and I'm just going to put my thread through that loop and pull it tight. And as you can see, that there has made a bit of a knot. What I will do the next step is I'm going to do one more stitch, and I haven't even hit the snap or the button yet, and pull it. So that is my actual knot. So from there I will trim the threads off, and I have a knot that's not going to come undone. Now because it's in the middle, you're not going to have any knots going around the outside. So I will be able to put my needle into my first area, and you can use the same holes if it gives you more confidence, or you can just go where you're going to go. So I already have my thread out. The first stitch, I'm going to come up and in. So now I have 4 threads that have already secured that. Go back into that hole, do not touch the outside of the fabric, then go up to the next hole. Go down, and then come right back up that same hole and tighten. You're going to go down and then go back up to that same hole again. Or the next hole, not the same hole. And that's what you're going to do all the way around. So now I have the snap all sewn on, and this is the last one that I have done. So I would go through there normally and then go up through that next hole. But instead of going up through the hole, I'm actually going to go up to where the last threads were. So I'm actually going to go through the threads. Bring your needle up. So I'm just going to take a stitch right in my first original stitches. So I have this loop here, and this is the loop that's going to tie my knot. I'm going to be able to pull it in, go through that loop, pull it out, and it's done. And that's going to give me a nice secure knot. I'm going to take that thread, because I don't want to snip it there, because then I would see the threads. I'm going to take that and I'm going to tuck it into the inside and come up wherever you feel comfortable. And then you'll be able to just pull this a little bit and snip your threads there. And that's how you have a nice secured button, and you don't see any knots, and the knots are not going to loosen on you. Now I'm going to repeat this, and I am actually going to put it on the jacket, and let's see what it looks like when it's done. So there we have it. The snap is on the jacket. There's no thread stitching on this side. There's no tails of threads showing here, and there's no bulk from some knots. It's a secure way to put snaps and buttons on. And now I can wear it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and let's see what we're sewing again next time in my room. We'll see you later. Bye now.